Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be back in my office after 3 weeks of being in Europe. I am still on European time, but in the mornings I am doing well. It's just in the evenings I kind of lose it, and today I got up at 4 a.m. because I was wide awake. So it makes for interesting things right now. But I know that some of you have followed me from before and know that I was going to the European on stage. And I have to say, I had a really wonderful time. I feel like, I don't know, I got out of my comfort zone a lot, and I think that was really good for me, and I really enjoyed it thoroughly, especially visiting my German family and having my sister there because we haven't seen each other for almost 2 years, and we just had a really fabulous time. I don't think it could have gone any better. Just both sides of our family. It was just so nice to be with them and spend time with them, especially some of my uncles on my father's side, my father's brothers, and the second oldest of the brothers thought he would never see us again because we lived so far afield and he wasn't able to travel. So it was like really touching to spend time with family, and just amazing. European on stage, that's the Stampin' Up event, was fabulous as well. It was a little bit different vibe, especially on the first day. I thought, oh my gosh, everyone's so held back, it was just a different sort of atmosphere. But then by Saturday, they started playing some songs that were very, I don't know, they were danced to in the different countries like the Netherlands and Germany and France. And those demos, they started getting up and dancing. So by the time we finished the conference, they were having just amazing time, and I was too, because I love that energy and that vibe. So it was a little bit of a smaller event compared probably to the North American event. I'm not sure how many people were at the North American event, so I can't say, but I'm guessing that it was more. So it was a little bit smaller, and we sat at tables, and it was just a really great time. We got to use new product. We got insider information about things that were coming up, and I'm very excited for this coming year and the products that we are going to have, and so lots of good things coming in the future for everyone. So today I'm going to be making a project that I didn't think I was going to be making today, because I got back and I started looking at the things I hadn't demonstrated yet. And it turns out that a lot of the things that I wanted to use are out of stock right now. So I had to pivot a little bit, and I went back to the annual catalog, to a product that I had actually forgotten about and had never, well, I don't know if I never used it, but I hadn't used it in the way that I thought. So I think today you're going to really love this box that I have created. Before we get started, if you are new to me, just know that I like to have a conversation with you, but I get distracted very easily. So I do that at the end of the video. Sometimes I will catch a question that's appropriate during the time, but normally I do it right at the end. So a couple of housekeeping things before I show you my box and before we get started. I want you to know we still have a product of the month, and this month it's called the Notes of Spring stamp set. And I personally have not used it, but I've seen many cute samples. unfortunately, my my stamp set, it arrived right after I left, so I didn't have it to use yet, and I just got back. Basically, I got back Wednesday night, so I've really only had like a day and a half, and I've been working on other things, but it is a very sweet and cute stamp set. And you can only earn this when you place a $75 order or more, and then you choose it as your product of the month, and it costs $5, but it's worth more than $5, so it is such a good deal. And I will be having it's actually I'm going to be compiling it. I'm the compiler this month of our 12 tutorial collaboration with other demonstrators, and anyone who spends $75 or more with me this month will get the Notes of Spring collaborative tutorial, 12 video tutorials. So that will come automatically once it's ready. And so it's just a really cool thing to get. And then you're going to get also with me, if you order with me, those 12 tutorials. So you'll have lots of ideas. And these tutorials are like exclusive. We will not be showing them elsewhere on our blogs and or in our social media. So they are very special content, so to speak. So that is one thing that is going on. And I know that some of you caught that I have a new free with purchase tutorial. Let me pop that up here. And this tutorial is separate from the 12 tutorial collection that I have going on. This one can be earned as long as you place an order of $20 or more with me. You can choose this tutorial or any of my other paid tutorials, and I have close to 100 tutorials at this point. So there's lots of tutorials to choose from. This is just my most recent one. All right, let me just look to make sure I've covered everything else. I think the Painted Illusions Designer Series paper is also still available. You can only choose one product of the month per order. You can only earn one of each product ever. But if you didn't earn last month's product of the month, it is still available, I believe, last time I checked. So that might be, if you don't want the stamp set, you can always earn this one. And I can swap out the tutorials if you like, because we do also have one for this paper, the Painted Illusions Designer Series paper. All right, I think I've covered everything that I want to cover. So now let me show you my box. And I do want to give a shout out to Lori Whitlock. I found her video tutorial, and hers is like a cut file. So it is not made using cutting and scoring like mine is going to be made today. And also because it was a cut file, her measurements were not available. So I just kind of looked at what she did and I created my own measurements. Also, it's a little different because hers has like a kind of a flat part that pops up, but mine, you just pull this and then, it's hard to pull it when it's in the air, but this pops up as you pull it out. So that is like it's really fun and cool. So it says happy birthday on the front, and then the little rainbow pops up when you pull the door open. So I think that's just kind of fun and cool. I really like this design. If you pop over to my blog, you can see I've linked to Lori Whitlock's video, so you can see hers. And because I want to give credit to where I got the idea from, but again, I adapted it for a trimmer and scoring, and I did not have her original dimensions at all. So this is sized for this rainbow, which I think is kind of, it's called Sunshine they're called the Sunshine Vibes dies. So they've got this kind of boho feel to them. They're just really fun, a fun rainbow to create. And it matches with the Boho Vibes Designer Series paper, which I'm kind of using on the front and the back of the box. So this, I wouldn't say that this is definitely not a beginner box, because there's some elements to it. But if you are a beginner, you can work along with me, and I think you might be able to do it. So it is just not like, it has some elements to it that you might want to watch the video again to see the construction of it and how it comes together. But I think you're going to really like this, and it's just kind of a fun little box to make. So I'm going to say one more other thing. I also am using the Banner Sayings bundle. This has become one of my favorite bundles. It has this punch here with these 3 banners. This is called, I think, the 3 Banners Punch, but you can get this together with the Banner Sayings stamp set as a bundle, and I would definitely recommend you doing that, because all of these greetings will fit in at least one of these punch areas. It is just very useful, especially for 3D that I do a lot of. It's nice to have small greetings to add to our projects, and it's nice to have a way to stick them on there with a banner. So I definitely recommend that if you haven't already gotten that. Okay, I think I'm ready to get started. Oh, one other thing. I will have a project sheet, and I'm already partially finished with this one. The project sheet always has a picture of the project. It has a supply list. It has written directions, and it has a diagram. So this is for my email list subscribers. You must be on my email list to get my project sheet. There is a link below in the description of the video, or if you're looking at this from my blog post, somewhere on my blog post, there's also a link to sign up for my email list, and then you can get my project sheets going forward. They are sent via email, usually on Saturdays, and tomorrow I should be pretty good to get it sent out, because I'm already partially finished with it. Okay, I am going to switch to my other camera so that I can share with you with my down-facing camera, which is much easier to see. So let's switch me over there. And then I'm also going to put myself back in the corners so that you can see me the whole time. How fun. All right. So just one more time, I think it's easier to show this when it's sitting down and not having kisses kind of coming out. So there is this little half circle finger grip. That's how you pull open the box. So it pulls open, and then right here, your little rainbow will pop up. And this holds about 25 Hershey's Kisses. It will not hold like Linder truffles or Ferrero Rocher truffles, because they will be too high. So it needs to be a small candy of about an inch high, no bigger than an inch high to fit in here. If you want to do candy that is not pre-packaged, then I recommend that you slip that candy inside a cellophane bag so that you can protect it, because once you open up here, this does kind of there is like more air that will get at everything, so because of the thumb grip and everything. So definitely like pre-package that if you're going to do something like that. I do like kisses, or maybe also Rolos for this, that are wrapped, because then it's just easier to pop them in there, and everything is good. All right, I think we are ready to get started on our project. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a scoring board, and we're going to make the drawer, the thing that slides in and out. We're going to make that first. So you're going to need a piece of cardstock. Sorry for the glare. When white and dark hit my camera, it's sometimes hard for the camera to adjust. So you're going to start off with a piece. I like to use thick basic white. Technically, you could also use regular basic white, but if you want your box to hold together better, get thick basic white because it will work better. So this piece is 7 3/4 inches by 7 1/4 inches. We are going to score this piece on all 4 sides. I'm going to try doing this while sitting down. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to scoot this around a little bit because I'm going to kind of be over here. Let me move that a little bit. Okay, so we're going to score this on all 4 sides at the 7/8 inch mark and the 1 7/8 inch mark. So make sure your piece is in the corner, okay? So 7/8 and 1 7/8 on all 4 sides. And these are awkward measurements, like they're not our typical measurements, like not kind of whole measurements. So you might want to make sure that you really pay attention when you're scoring this piece, because it is not, and it's all 4 sides. So 1 7/8 and 7/8. And then you should have a piece that looks like this. We're going to prep this piece before we go get to the other pieces. I like to use a trimmer to cut this because you're going to have straight lines, but you can also do this with scissors. So let me show you. I'm going to start by cutting into the long side. So the long side's up at the top of the trimmer, and I'm going to line up my score line, the second one in, with the score groove is lined up here on this line. I'm going to cut this starting from the second score line in and then out. Then I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to come down here, and I'm also going to do it from the second score line here, 1 2, and then out. I'll show you what this looks like in a second when, so if you want to do it with scissors. And then we're going to line this up with that first score line in from the side, but we're also going to go down to the second score line and cut, and then we're going to do that again from the bottom and out. So if you were cutting with scissors, you would be cutting like this into both of the long sides. Okay, so we're going to flip this now, and we're going to do this side, starting with the second score line in. Line that up on the groove, cut, and cut. And then we're going to do that in from that first score line. Just line it up with the groove, and we're going to cut and cut. So this is what it looks like. Okay, now I'm going to turn it so the short side is up at the top, and we'll start by going in just 1 score line in, and we will be cutting in this one from the second score line from the bottom. But pay attention, because our next cut is going to be a little different. So that's going to cut off these squares here, but we want to retain these inner squares right here. So now I'm going to go to that second score line in, but we're only going to cut from that first score line out on both ends. So basically what we're doing is we're cutting away the 3 corner squares, and then we're retaining this one inner one. Let's flip to the other side, and I'm going to put that first score line right in from the side, right onto my score groove, and I'm bringing in and cutting, lifting this, taking it down, and then cutting it. So these squares fall away, looks like that. And then we're going to line up that last score groove, and we're just going to cut in from that first score intersection this time. And if you get confused while doing this, what I would do while you still have a whole piece, I would go ahead and put an X on all the squares that need to be cut away, the 3 corner ones, and that way it will remind you where you're supposed to cut. Okay. Next up, we're going to angle cut these 4 inner squares into little tabs. So we're just going to take a little wedge out of each side. I start about 1/8 of an inch in, and then I taper to the corner. This just helps your box fit better. You could technically do it without, but then things get a little crunchy. The cardstock gets a little bent. So this is a little easier. A little easier. Okay. Got a lot of mess on my desk, so I'm just gonna bring my garbage can in to the side here and scoop everything into my garbage can. All right, now we want to create that little finger pull right there. So I'm gonna have one of my long sides facing me. I'm trying to think where my ruler is. Aha. So one of the long sides is facing me, and I'm going to take my ruler on that first score line. I'm going to grab a pencil. This is a centering ruler, and this length right here is 4 inches long. So I'm going to just put my 2-inch and 2-inch on my centering ruler right there, and then we're going to put a little pencil mark right there on the center. If you do not have a centering ruler, like this one down at the bottom, you're just going to measure over 2 inches from the side to that 2-inch mark. And then you're going to have a little mark that we are going to use to create the finger grip. Let's flip this over for a moment. We're going to fold this along the score line, just like this, okay? Keep it folded. And you're going to need a 3/4 inch circle punch for my thumb grip. If you do not have one, Stampin' Up! Currently, this is a Stampin' Up! One. It currently does not sell a 3/4 inch punch, but they are super useful. I use my circle punches so much. I do have a link down below in the description of the video to one that is almost identical to this one, just different colors. It is a 3/4 inch circle punch. So if you don't have one, get one. You will thank me for it. Okay. So I am just going to put the circle punch in halfway, and I'm going to use that pencil mark as a guide to kind of keep it in the center. And once I've got that place where I want it, I'm going to punch it, and the circle may hit you in the face like it just did me. And then you have what looks like a little hole. That is good. Next, we are going to take some designer series paper and cut yourself a 4-inch by 1-inch strip. And so this is going to be the bottom of the box right here. So I'm just orienting this, turning it around a bit. And this is going to be on the inside, like here, and this is going to be on the outside. So I just want you to realize that in case you choose paper that has a bit of an up and down pattern, I want my arc to be like this, because right above it is going to be the arch of the rainbow. So I kind of want it arced out like this instead of going like this. Either way is probably fine though, but it's going to be glued on that second segment in from this little circle die. So that's why this looks upside down to me right now. but it actually will be right side up later. So I'm just going to stick that there for a moment. I am going to put my glue on here because I'm going to not want to put glue where the circle is. So I'm just going to trace this. It's going to basically cover the whole area of the second segment. So I'm just going to trace this kind of with glue, no closer than, like, you don't want to get more closer than 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And we're just going to pop this down here, right along the segment. And you can also, oh, if it helps too, if you fold that second fold, then you can kind of make sure it is straight and folded correctly, or glued on there correctly. If you have any excess overhanging over the top, you can trim that right now. And then you can see there is the paper peeking through. I'm going to come in now with my punch and punch it out. You might ask, why didn't I do that before? This is thick basic white cardstock, and the punch could go through 2 layers, but 3 would be pushing it. So that's why I'm going to do it separately. I'm just going to kind of come in here until I see that it looks, and then I just punch that piece out. So now I have this piece of paper with the thumb grit built right in there. We have another piece that we are going to use on the back, but we're not going to glue that yet because we have something else that needs to be stuck to the back before we're going to add the paper. So only do this front one right now with the circle. It makes sense to do it now because if you do it later, then it's going to be you're not going to be able to punch out that hole again. So that's why we do it now and not later. Okay, now we get to assemble this box. Now we'll fold inwards along all the score lines, not just the ones that we needed. Using my bone folder helps create a nice crisp fold. All right. Okay, if you did your box the exact same way as mine, then these 2 side tabs right here can be glued down first. And then we're going to tuck in the other tabs into the big tab here. So let's do these first. We're going to do this one here. I'm just putting glue along that outer segment, and we're going to fold that over, and we're going to press that down. Then we're going to do the same thing for the other side, but I'm going to turn it because I'm right-handed. Okay, fold that over and press that down. So that's already done. Okay, this is going to be the front of your drawer. Doesn't matter which side you do first. We just need to make sure as we're doing it, these little tabs right here are going to be tucked in. And the other thing you're going to make sure when you do that is you're going to make sure everything is cinched in and not out on like a weird angle. So for this one here, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on that second segment. That's where the tab's going to hit. And then I'm going to just put glue on this outer segment here, around here. So now we're going to tuck these in, and this is going to come over top. And I'm just kind of wiggling it into place. And I want to make sure I'm putting a little pressure on the sides, not too much. We don't want buckling, but we also want it to be straight up and down, like right angles. We don't want this edge to be flared out. We want it to be tight to the side so that it's going to fit into our cover later on, because everything has been like designed with precise measurements, so everything should fit. Once that's good, you can give it a little push right there. And then we're going to do the same thing for the back here. put just a little bit of glue for the back of the tabs there. And then we'll put glue all on this first tab. And then we're going to pop this over here. All right. We're going to push. I feel like, I'm going to lift this up a bit. I feel like I did not get that all the way to the corner there. Okay. All right. Push that down. So that is the drawer. Nothing on the back yet. So that is step number 1 that needs to be done. Now we're going to build the cover. All right. I need 2 pieces of the same piece. The cover, because of its length and the way that it's situated, this would have been, oh, you know what? I'm trying to think. I maybe could have done it all in one go. 5.5. I probably could have. Now that I'm thinking of it. I don't know. This is the way I did the cover. So just do it the same way as me and you won't have any trouble. You know, there is often more than one way to do something. So maybe I could have made this easier on myself. I don't know. No, I don't think it would have worked. Anyway, right now I'm playing mind games with myself because like I always have different ways of doing things. But okay, let's score these. These pieces both are 5.5 by 3 5/8. So I was doing this. When was I making this? I was making this yesterday afternoon and I was very tired. So my brain was like probably not firing on all cylinders. Afternoons right now are very hard for me. Okay, we are going to score this at 3/8 and 1 3/8. 3/8 and 1 3/8. 3/8 and 1 3/8. They are identical, and we are going to glue them together to make the cover in a moment. But first, on one of them, we need to create a big hole. So set one of these aside for the moment, and then we're going to just work with one of them. I'm going to have you cut yourself a 2" by 2" square of cardstock. And yeah, just make sure it's 2 by 2. And then we're going to put this on here on the big segment, right? Just don't pretend this part doesn't exist right now. On the big segment right here. And you are going to center it on here as best you can. Then you're going to just maybe like measure it real quick. This one should be just bigger here than 3/4 of an inch. And here on this side, I need to move this up just a little bit. I can see it's not quite centered. So it's supposed to be just a little bit more than 3/4 of an inch on either side. Perfect. And then on this side, it's going to be just a little bit more than an inch on either side, from the score line to here and from the edge to here. Once you have that situated, you're still going to do it with some accuracy because we're going to do it on the trimmer. But the reason I'm getting you to trace this is it's going to really help make sure that you're cutting in the right spot, because you're going to be able to see the pencil lines in the trimmer. So this is kind of just like a fail safe to help you get a centered square. So now you're just going to go ahead and trace your square onto your piece. So you can kind of see it is centered on this big segment here. Now we're going to bring our trimmer in again. Trimmer's getting a workout today. So to start off with, we're going to put the short side up at the top, and we're going to line up one of the sides with the 3/4 inch mark over on this side of the trimmer. You're going to take your little cutting blade, line it up with this pencil line right here, or maybe just a little tiny bit beyond, and then you're going to cut down to the other pencil line or just a little bit beyond. All right, then we can turn this and we're going to do the other side. And you're going to see, you know, your square might have been like a little bit off, and we are cutting a little bit more than the pencil mark. But trust me, this is really going to help you focus in on where you need to cut. The other short side is up at the top. Line this up with a 3/4 inch mark. And again, we're going to look at that pencil line, go just a tiny bit beyond, and we're going to cut down just a tiny bit beyond that pencil line. Okay, so now we've got both of those sides cut. Now we're going to turn this to the long side with this short little piece hanging out. We're going to move this to the 1 inch mark, and we're going to cut from that score line down to the other score line. So it should start to pop out here. Then we're going to cut this side here. So this one is a little bit harder just because it's a different measurement. This is going to be 2 3/8 over here on this side right here. And then we're going to cut down, and you should see, let me see, you should almost see the pencil line in that groove. And we're going to cut down just a tiny bit beyond, and hopefully this should start to pop out. Okay, I didn't do this corner very well, so let's just help it along with little scissors. Or you can pop it back in the trimmer too if you wish. It's like almost out, but not quite. Okay, so that's what it looks like. It is just a square, an open square in the middle of your piece. But this is important because this is where our little pop-up piece is going to be fed through. Now we are going to fold this. Like I said before, I think I could have made this out of one strip of cardstock now that I noticed, but you know what? It's all good. It's still going to work out the same. It's just going to have 2 seams instead of 1, which is fine. Okay, so the way these work together, seam goes to long edge and seam goes to long edge, okay? So if you kind of see that these seams, this short segment is going to be attached to the long segment, and this short segment is going to be attached to the long segment. So we're going to take our glue, and we are going to glue this down here. And I'm just going to bring it right to the edge. I'm kind of feeling with my fingers to feel like, is it lined up right along the edge? And I do want it to be, you know, not hanging over. Do you know what I mean? I want it to be like right there. Okay, so now I can kind of flatten that a little bit and give it a little press with my bone folder just to give it a little bit more adhesion ability. Now this one's going to be easier because we're going to fold this over, and then we're going to push this back so that just this edge overlaps right here. So let's go ahead and put glue now on this short end segment. And we're going to glue that window piece right up top. And this is nice because it's also flat. So we can just give it a nice little press. Every time I make a box, I learn something. This is the first time I've made this type of box. All right, we have our cover. So now let's make sure it fits. It should fit right into here. Okay, so now we have to create this piece right here that is going to pop up for us. I do recommend for this to use the same color of cardstock that you use for the cover. Use that for this next pop-up piece. So we have a piece of cardstock, and this one measures 4.5 by 2 inches. We're going to score on the long side. I'm just going to flip that over because it's easier. And we are going to score at the 3/4 inch mark, and then the 2.25 inch mark, and the 3 5/8 inch mark. That's what it looks like. I'll get rid of my scoring board, then you'll be able to see what it looks like better. It looks kind of like this. Okay, so this end is 3/4 inch and this end is 7/8 inch, and that's going to be important later on because we need to glue the 3/4 inch one in the right spot. Otherwise your box will probably not work 100%. Okay, we need to fold this into a valley, a mountain, and then both ways. So we first scored at 3/4. That is going to be a valley. So let's fold it into a valley. The next one's going to be a mountain fold. So we've got a valley and a mountain. And now this end piece, you're going to want to fold it both ways. It's neither a valley nor a mountain. It's a little bit flexible. So make sure you fold that one going both ways. All right, now we're going to glue this. I'm going to kind of show you how this works. This little piece right here, the 3/4 inch wide one, will be glued right here, and we're going to tuck it in right underneath here. And it's going to, this is the front of the box. So it's going to be glued next to the front of the box right underneath this piece right here. This is where you're going to glue your rainbow. This is the back of the mountain. And then this piece, later on we're going to manipulate the drawer. This piece is going to go through here, and it's going to be glued to the back of the drawer. Okay, so let's start off with gluing this front piece first. So remember, this is the 3/4 inch wide. If you're not sure, measure it, or look, 3/4 smaller than 7/8, so the smaller end. And we're just going to put glue. I do like to use glue for this because this pop-up piece is going to have stress on it, and glue is going to be your best bet. So actually, I'm going to pull the drawer out right now because it's a little easier to glue it without the drawer in here. So we're just going to tuck this underneath here. You're going to want to make sure that this fold can work and go all the way forward. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that it, like, you're not gluing it too far over onto the score line, because it needs to at least get to the right angle state. So if your fold is not folding right there, then you have to back it up a little bit so that we can fold it. Now you can give that a nice little press. You'll notice that this is going to be this length right here. The hole opening is about 2 1/8 inches, and this piece is 2 inches. So there's going to be a little tiny gap on both sides. Okay. All right, now we're going to pop this in here into the drawer because we actually need to do that. And then this piece right here, only have the drawer, have it pulled out about halfway, okay? So you can see the back of the drawer through the window here. We're going to put glue on this side here, and then it's going to glue to the back of the drawer like that. Okay, so make sure you're putting it on the right side. Here is going to here. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over. We're going to put glue on the back side. Okay, and then we're going to feed this through the hole and see the back. And then you're just going to kind of settle it so that the score line is just sitting above the edge of the top of the drawer. You can kind of see how that's going right now. And you're going to give it a little press. Now the drawer, you cannot pull it out all the way anymore. Like now the drawer has made a serious commitment to the cover. So now like they are married, and this is not supposed to come out anymore. So you're just going to have to make sure it's in the right place. I'm kind of using pressure on both sides here to kind of make sure that it works. Then we're going to kind of slide this back a little bit. Okay. It's going to kind of just kind of make sure it kind of works. It actually works better later on when you have some weight in the box, some of the candy in the box. I'm just going to pull and just kind of make sure that it works, and it does right now. Okay, so remember I told you we need another piece of this paper. This is another 4" by 1" piece of designer series paper, and now we're going to use it to cover up the back. Just make sure it's looks like it's the right size before you stick glue on there. And then we're going to put glue on here. And then cover up our work, so to speak. And remember, this drawer no longer can come out, so you have to kind of do this on the back here. This is double-sided, but you still can't press super hard because it is paper. So we're just going to kind of add that to the back, and that kind of covers up our little pop-up element. All right, that is the basic construction of the box, and now we get to decorate it. Okay. Let's do that. We'll put the box aside for a sec, and I'm going to grab my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss because I think everything can go through on this one. Now, it's always good to have the big machine too, but sometimes for demonstration purposes, it's nice to have my little mini machine here because it fits onto my desk a little bit better. So let's open her up, and I'm just going to tell you what I always tell you when I bring out my mini machine is that it will tell you to use the number white plate when die cutting. But all die cutting machines are a little bit different, at least the ones that are made right now in present day. And the number 1 plate for my machine is too tight. But thankfully we have this light gray number 3 plate, and it is a little bit thinner. And that's the one I like to use with this machine. I have another machine, and the number 1 white plate works perfectly, but this machine, not so much. So if you're having trouble, try switching. I know that has worked for a lot of people. And try it with the number 1 first. If it's having trouble going through, then stop what you're doing, pull back out, and start again with the number 3 plate. So we need the number 3 plate, and then we need 2 cutting plates, and we are going to do some die cutting. And I know a lot of you know how to die cut, but some of you are new to this. So I don't want to skip this step because I want to make sure that everyone knows how to do this. Okay, we are going to start off our rainbow with this die right here. This is an outline die. We're going to take a piece of Secret C cardstock, and we're going to cut this. And we'll just pop the other cutting plate on top. Okay. Cut that. That is our number 1 piece. We'll put that down. I don't think there's much of that cardstock piece left, so that's going. Next off, we're going to cut this outer arc. So we're going to use some Cajun Praise cardstock. Pop that on here. We're going to use this one right here. And notice I also have a little Cajun Craze. Oh, it's kind of underneath my photo here, or my picture. And notice we have a little arc down here too. Let's just pop that one on here too at the same time, and we'll cut both of them together. So Cajun Craze. All right, we're gonna pop this out, and then let's see, where is my little piercer? It's gone for a walk. All right, you are right here. Okay, I have two of them, but whenever I'm looking, I don't know, my desk is still messy from before I left, so we are just gonna pop this out of our piece. There is, actually they all fell out nicely, so let's just pop that on there, and then we're going to take this one out. There's little holes that allow you to pop things out. There is the inner one. And then we'll pop these back onto here so we don't lose them. This is now going in the garbage. And I'm just going to, if you have a little old credit card or a hotel key, one of those plastic ones, it's great for scraping off little pieces of cardstock. Next up, we're going to do just a plain yellow one. This actually can either cut the positive stripes, or you can use it as a negative as well on a card. It's kind of cool. I did have a yellow piece, but it is gone. Just completely gone. All right, we'll use this one, I think. I hope this one fits. Okay, yes, it does. I don't know where my yellow piece went. I did cut one. Let's just cut it a little smaller so it will fit through the machine. This is Daffodil Delight. And this one's gonna cut a whole bunch of stripes. So if you just wanted to do plain stripes, you could cut this piece in several different colors and just rearrange your rainbow each time. And then you could like basically kind of do the die cutting for all your pieces, just for many of these boxes all at the same time. So you can see this cuts positive pieces, but it also cuts a negative. So you can use this on a card, not if you cut it through like this, but you can use this negative, and you could put paper behind it. I've seen that done before, and it looks great. Okay, so now we need to locate the second largest stripe here, and we're going to put that right here. And these ones, I just like to put these together with my dies, and then sometimes I will use them in the future. And next up, we're going to do Mossy Meadow. I am using colors right out of the paper. So you can use traditional colors if you want, if that makes you happy. I'm also taking a piece of cloud cover, and we're gonna do these two right at the same time. As long as they don't shift, we should be good. All right, we've got our little squiggles. Popping this out here. And just pop this right there. Pop that right there. And then we're going to grab this one and pop it out. And there we go. All right, one last thing we want to die cut. And we're just going to use, again, color right out of the paper. This is Petal Pink. And we'll use these little hearts. And we'll just cut some little hearts to kind of embellish our rainbow. Okay. All right, we have lost one of the hearts already. Let's just pop these over here. I'm gonna use like a little black box so I don't lose my hearts. Okay, let's just stick those down there. Those back there, this back here, and out of the way. This out of the way. Garbage. Got a lot of stuff going on my little desk. So let's tidy up a little bit. Let's put some things away real quick so that I am not. Okay, you're gonna fit in right there. Okay. All right, I feel a little better now. Cleaned up a little bit. Okay. And I think I inadvertently, for today, I was using my centering ruler, but I just want to show you, I have two different rulers I use quite frequently. My OmniGrip centering ruler, I think I put in my Victor Easy Read ruler into the supply list today. Both of these are good. If you go over to my Amazon store, I believe I have the OmniGrip ruler listed in there. If you can't find the link and if you want it, just let me know and I will send it to you. The OmniGrip one is sometimes a little hard to find, so because there's so many different kinds and so many different orientations. Okay, now we need to glue all these pieces on here, and I start with the big one. And yes, I know there's little holes in here, but I really like Tombow. You can use double-sided adhesive on your cardstock pieces before you run them through, but why do that when you can get sticky fingers? So I'm just going to kind of spread this out here onto my piece, and I'm just going to try and make sure it kind of follows the arch a little bit, because cardstock's a little bit malleable. So we just kind of want to make sure that it is in the right spot. Then we're going to take our next piece, which is our yellow piece, and put glue on this one. This one, thankfully, does not have holes. So we'll go on a little easier. But again, I'm kind of trying to keep the bottoms in the same place. And I will push out on the sides just a little bit to help it follow along the curve of the previous arch. And you know what, at first when I tried it with these colors and I thought, am I gonna like that? But I actually do. It kind of has a different vibe than just traditional colors. But if you want to do traditional colors, what I suggest you do is go to Google it, and Google how to put those colors on the correct way, like in the correct order, because then it will be really pleasing to the eye. And it should be fairly easy to Google the actual rainbow colors and which orders they go. I did that for this project. So I think the first color on the outside is red, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why I used that Cajun Craze color, because I thought that was the closest to the red in the paper. And then I thought, like, that looks fine, but I kind of thought it looks nice if I go back to the original color, and that's why I did Cajun Craze as my last color again, repeating it from the first. Could use a different color too. I could have used the petal pink, but then I thought I'm going to do little petal pink hearts. Okay. Okay. There is my rainbow. I think it's easier to put on the hearts while your rainbow is still flat. I'm going to use the biggest and the smallest of the two hearts. We're going to grab mini dimensionals. For the bigger heart, I think you can manage to use just one dimensional without it peeking out. So we're just going to do that, one mini dimensional. And we're just going to kind of stick that one over here. Then for this one, you're going to have to, this is the smallest one, you're going to have to like cut like just a little tiny piece off of dimensional. And you could do this with just regular glue and not have dimension, and maybe that would be easier, but I kind of wanted these to pop up a little bit. And it is now stuck very nicely to my finger. And like I said, if you want to, you can absolutely use glue instead. You peel off the backing. Oh, you don't want to come off, do you? There we go. Okay. Okay. Got this little guy, and we're just going to pop that down on there like that. Okay. So now that I've got this piece situated, I'm going to reserve that heart for my greeting down here. Let's bring our box back in and let me show you where you need to adhere this. Okay, so we are going to just pull this forward a little bit. This front part here, that front part of the mountain, that's where you have to adhere your piece to. You don't want to have it adhere to the back because then your box won't open. So it's going to be like right here. So it's nice that I use the same color for my pop-up piece as my cover so that it kind of blends in. And you can kind of see, I'm going to have to not put glue right here in the center. And we're just going to kind of arc it over. So you can either put your glue on here, leaving a space in the center for your arch. So we could do that, or you can just kind of bring it out about like 1/2 inch and trace it around there. I don't know what's easier. Let's do it right on the rainbow. I think that's easier. So I'm just gonna kind of trace 1/2 inch kind of around here. You can kind of see, okay, this is gonna be right here, and then this is going to be up this high. I think that's going to work. We can bring the corners out just a bit. Okay, so that's basically what it looks like. You don't want it too far down to the bottom because the ends of the rainbow are actually a little, they kind of go down a little bit. So you want to be able to like still have this pop up a little bit. So we're just going to pull down. I think that's pretty good. Okay, I think that's going to work. Okay, that just needs to kind of wiggle into place there. Okay, so it's about like that, just a little bit above that fold right there. Okay, now we're going to just take our little banner sayings. We need a piece of basic white, either thick or the regular, it doesn't matter. And we're going to take our happy birthday, and we're going to take Secret Sea ink, and we're just going to very gently, because it's a small stamp right here, you don't want to go too hard, and then we're just going to stamp that right there. Let's close that up and banner punch. And this one I am just centering as best I can and lining it up so that it is straight. And I'm going to punch it. And then we're just going to glue that right to our box. You are welcome to use dimensionals for this piece as well, if you would like. I'm keeping it flat because there's things popping off. The rainbow is going to kind of be our focal point and kind of pop off. And then we have this one last heart. I'm not going to put this on a dimensional. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, and I'll just put it over here. But maybe you can find a better spot for it. I don't know. I just didn't want all of them to be on the rainbow, so I kind of just like scattered them a little bit. So that is the box. That is all there is to it. So let's just pull this out here. And now kisses. So about 25. So let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Whoops. 16, 18, 20, 22, 23, 24, and 25. 25 is like about optimal because it's like not too loose and not too tight. There are some, last year there were some really cute kisses that also kind of had like, I don't know what they were called. They kind of had rainbow vibes on them. So I think that would be really cute in this box. Yesterday, I went to the grocery store after my trip to stock up again, and right before I went, I was like, what am I going to get to put in here? And the problem was that like the things that I wanted to do yesterday, the bundles were like sold out. So I didn't want to do that. So I had no idea yesterday afternoon what I was doing. I just didn't even have a clue yet. So I didn't go ahead and get different kisses for this box. So I just went with my silver stash that I always have at home. But truly find your favorite kisses. They now come in so many different flavors. You can even match them to the colors of your rainbow, and that would be really fun. Or in a pinch, you can always use silver or find another small wrapped candy. And then you just push this back in, and there is your super cute rainbow box. It's got some boho vibes. I think this is going to make like a really great gift, a little birthday gift for someone. And it's just going to be like a little happy. You know, you just pull it out and ta-da, that little rainbow pops up. And I think that just will put a smile on someone's face, that it pops up like that. So just a really cute and fun box using the Sunshine. I've already forgotten the name of the dies. They are the Sunshine Vibes dies, and of course the Banners Sayings bundle. And I hope you will enjoy making that. It is not a hard project once you know how to put it together, but the construction of it, you're going to have to just pay like special attention to all of those steps. So the project sheet will come out tomorrow with all the dimensions, but I really feel like you're going to at least have to watch the video at least once to make sure that you're gluing things into the correct spots. So if you got this far and you're not already one of my YouTube subscribers, I hope you will subscribe to my channel. If you would like to get notifications, there's also a little bell that you can click on that will allow you to set notifications for my channel. If you also give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, or share this video with your friends and family, that is awesome too. I really appreciate all of my followers, all of my customers, my team members, some of whom are here today. This is this is my job, so I really appreciate all of that. If you need any of the products that I talked about today, there is a supply list in the video where you can find everything that I talked about. If you click over to my blog, you will see a photo supply list at the bottom of the blog, as well as pictures of this project. So I am now going to go and read the comments. And I thank you all for being here today, because you make my videos so much better. I would be so much more boring without all of you here. So it's very cool that you're here. So hello, Stana. And she says she's finally getting to watch me live. Awesome. Hello, Nancy. She says, welcome home. Thank you. So does Tina. Says, welcome back. Thank you. I'm glad you missed me. I miss doing this, but honestly, it was back to back. Like it was like all day, every day. My brain was pretty much being used for other things. And I really wanted to be present where I was. I really wanted to give everyone that was there my time, especially my sister, because I don't see her very often, and also my team member Rhonda, who was with me for the first part of our journey. We also had a really good time in Amsterdam. Oh my gosh. I never really thought I would like Amsterdam because I kind of thought about it as like the place of drugs and other things. And I just, I kind of had like this negative impression of Amsterdam, but it was so much more than that. There is great food there. Are so many things just to see in the city. You can walk everywhere. There's canals. There's little tiny streets with the cutest shops. It is just like every corner you turn, there's something else. I loved Amsterdam. We were staying close to a place called Vondel Park. It's kind of like their central park. And I walked there and the bikes were going everywhere and the bulbs were coming up. It was fantastic. So I also really loved Amsterdam as a city. Totally caught me by surprise that I loved it so much. Okay, I'm going to keep going on the comments here. Cutie says, welcome back. And Karen says, glad you are back to inspire us again. Well, thank you. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Mary. Hello, Debbie from New Jersey. Hello, Marianne. Hello, Judy, and she has a cold, windy day in Kansas. And you had 97 degrees yesterday. That is crazy. We got into the 60s yesterday, which was very nice coming back. Amsterdam had a kind of a chill wind blowing on our last day. Hello, Valerie. Hello, Marty. It's been a long time. I'm glad you're here. Marty asked, were the tulips in bloom? So we did have some early tulips. They were not full on tuliping yet there. We had, I saw crocuses, daffodils. There's another one I can't think of. But there were some early tulips out. We went to Keukenhof, which is Amsterdam's botanical garden. It's only open in the spring for like 2 months, and it was just the start of Keukenhof. So my sister and I had tickets and we went, and it was wonderful. It was windy though. They had a lot of tulips in their on the inside. Like they had kind of so many different varieties that were blooming on the inside, and then some of them were blooming outside as well, but not the early tulips were. Like tulips, they don't bloom all at once. They all kind of have times when they're going to come up. So, but yes, I did see tulips, and they are my favorite flower, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, just everything about Amsterdam was amazing. Hello, Evelyn from Germany. Hello, Mary. Judy says, very cute box. Louise says, good morning from rainy Maryland. I think we might be getting rain at some point too. Tina said you had 1900 at the North American on stage. You know, I feel like the locations, especially the California location, was expensive and like a little bit more pricey to get to, and I think that probably kept some people away. I think we had 900 in Europe, so we had about half of your size, so it was also small-ish, but it was, I don't know, it was great. I was very happy to be there and to get to know some of my European demonstrator friends, so that was really cool. Mary says, you have done it again, so amazingly cute. Well, I'm glad you like it. And Judy says, beautiful box. Hello, Marilyn. Lydia says, welcome home. Thank you. Janine says she's watching from cold Utah. I can't believe that Utah is probably colder than here. Karen says she's joining late for the most interesting box. Well, I'm glad you think it's interesting. Hello, Sharon. Oh, you missed us in Karamias. Oh, well, next year on stage is going to be online only, and then after that, we're all going to be in Salt Lake City for 2028. So I can't wait for that. All demonstrators are coming to one location in 2028. So that's going to be really cool. And that will be the 40th anniversary for Stampin' Up. So that is also very cool. Marilyn says, okay, she's got the code for the rainbow colors in order. It's, I can't say the acronym, but it's RYGOBIV, red, yellow, green, orange, blue, indigo, violet. Very good. I'm glad you knew that. I have to look it up every single time. Hello, Deirdre. And she says, welcome back. Clever box. Thank you. Louise says, that's a lot of kisses. It is, but it is also a special box. I don't know that you're going to be making 100 of these boxes. So it is more of a birthday gift. So get the person their favorite kisses, or maybe do a combination of some different kisses. So I don't know if that's like maybe half a bag of kisses. So it's a little bit more of a gift. It's not like an itty bitty favor box. This is definitely, a little bit bigger of a box. So we need boxes in all sizes, right? All right. Karen says, great box. Judy says, super cute. Marilyn says, really cute. Judy says she shared my video and gave me a thumbs up. Thank you, Judy. So Marilyn, I talked a little bit about my trip earlier on. The first half, of course, was Amsterdam with my team member, Rhonda. And this is the third on stage we've done together. So I just love spending time with her because she's just a great person and we get along really well, and we have kind of similar trip styles. So that was like really easy. Like, we really didn't do anything after dinner time, and we just kind of chilled. And I think that is kind of important for the two of us, and that just really worked well. Yeah, it was really great. And then when she left and my sister arrived, my poor sister, she came all the way from British Columbia, so she had to fly from the interior of BC to Toronto, and then Toronto to Amsterdam. Thankfully, all of her flights were on time, and she landed in Amsterdam. I was just kind of dropping off Rhonda at her bag drop place, and kind of had just said goodbye. And then my sister's chiming in, I'm through security, I'm almost out, I'm just waiting for my luggage. So then I hightailed it down to arrivals, and basically she was ready to come out. So it really great timing. The poor girl there, though, because my sister then had to go, I think, to Berlin. It was like, I want to say it was like 5 or 6 hours by train to Berlin. So by the time we got into Berlin, she had been up for like over a day and a half. I mean, minus the time change, like it would be 2 days if it was like, but she did lose some hours in there, but she was super tired. She was a trooper. I thought afterwards, I really should have booked like one night in Amsterdam before we went on so she could recuperate a little bit. That would have been really nice. But I didn't think of it at the time. I didn't really, I just, I was just planning the trip. I wasn't really thinking about that part, but yeah. And just visiting family was amazing. It was great. Let's see. Tina says, it's adorable. A lot of kisses. You have to really like the person you give it to. Well, I don't know how much a bag of kisses is right now, but like it is more, it's a little bit bigger of a gift, right? And because it is sized for the rainbow, it has to be that big. Like, you wouldn't want to make it any smaller than that. You want a little bit of perimeter around the rainbow. So 25 kisses, or some other small gift. And so we do need boxes of different sizes. We need little favor size boxes, and we need bigger boxes that kind of make a nice little gift. I don't know what a bag of kisses is like right now. Is it like $5.99 probably, with the price increase with chocolate? So half a bag of kisses is like $3. So I mean, it's still not like crazy in terms of gifting. You spend more money on the supplies to make the box than you do on the actual gift part, but you know what I mean? It is, I think that is still doable in terms of a handmade gift. All right. Judy says, it was good that you got to go with my sister, that I got to go with my sister. Wonderful that you got to visit family that is so far from you. Yeah, you know what? I think the trip was exponentially better having my sister there. I could have gone and done it alone, but guess what? It's always better to take someone with you. And I would have had to field questions. Why didn't your sister come? Is she ever going to come? And now I was able to have her right there with me, and it was so good. So many aspects of it were good. Just spending time with her. I think this was the first time after so many years where we weren't caring for our parents that were, sick or had some sort of medical emergency, or we weren't taking care of an estate. That even though this trip was like visiting family, and we had to practice our German and all of that, it really also was for us, like bonding time as sisters that don't live close together, and it's just so important. And I don't know, I just feel so much closer to my sister after this, and it just was an amazing trip. That's all I have to say, but I probably will say more. Karen says, looking forward to the project sheet tomorrow. Marilyn says, it would be perfect for her grandson. He puts rainbows on every drawing. Yes, that would be an awesome idea for your grandson. How is my German? I practice it. That's why I was so busy leading up. There were so many elements to this trip. I had created this color coded chart because my trip was in 5 parts. Like, there were 5 distinct parts to this trip. And I knew I was going to be spending 2 of those parts with German relatives. So before I went, I was watching Tagesschau, which is like a German news program that streams live on the internet. And I would try and watch it, like, have it on the background while I was making something for, like, I don't know, in the evenings I would do that. So I tried to brush up on like newer vocabulary. I also, German actually was my first language, but I don't use it very often. So I needed the practice. So by the end, I think it was going a lot better, but I'm kind of motivated now to keep practicing it and keep it going, because I don't know, it kind of feels good to revisit that, because it was my first language. It was the language of my parents, their first language too. So yeah, I will keep it going. I think I speak a decent German with mistakes, but decent. People can understand me, so that's all that really matters. Marilyn says she loves the size of the box. Perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. Sorry to have kept you so long today, but like I said, I do kind of the most important stuff at the beginning so you can see how to build this box. Watch for my project sheet tomorrow. And if you need anything, any of the products I used today, look in the description of the video or pop over to my blog. All the supplies are there. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I'll pop my email up there on the screen, or you can use the comment form on my blog, and I will be happy to answer them. Have a great day and a great weekend. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.